What's up, you guys? It's your boy Trippy, and today I'll be going over how Francis Ngannou will KO Stipe Miocic. So, in my last video about these two, I went over how both guys can win come fight night. And side note, this isn't my final prediction. This is not my final prediction or breakdown. Later today, I'll be releasing my final prediction and breakdowns for these two and who I got winning come fight night. But in these sequence of videos, I go over how both guys will likely win. So, this video is how Francis Ngannou will KO Stipe Miocic, and in my next video, I'll be going over how Stipe Miocic will beat Francis Ngannou. But sit back and enjoy the video, and let's focus on Francis Ngannou for a second. So if Francis Ngannou is going to defeat Stipe Miocic, I think we all can agree that it's probably going to be pretty early. And by pretty early, I mean first and second round. Don't get me wrong, Francis Ngannou does carry a little bit of power into the latter rounds, but if Francis Ngannou is going to win this one, it's going to be by early KO, in my opinion. So, since the Derek Lewis loss, Francis Ngannou has accumulated in the octagon about 3 minutes of octagon time. Yeah, I'm going to let that sink in for a second. 3 minutes of octagon time. So that means whatever this guy carries in those gloves, whether it's dynamite, grenades, freaking if he has hands of stone, when they hit another human being, the human skull just cannot take it. The brain shuts off. His opponents automatically go to sleep the second he lands that thing clean. So since their last fight, Stipe has been through 3 different wars with Daniel Cormier. But in their first fight, Stipe Miocic took damage, a lot of damage from Francis Ngannou in their first fight. But he hasn't taken a step back when it comes to damage either. He went through 3 different wars with DC and took a lot of damage in those wars. And that's another thing you guys who are rooting for Stipe Miocic in this fight have to ask yourselves. The damage that he's taken. Can he still take a clean blow from Francis Ngannou? Because, let me just say this, Francis Ngannou has underrated hand speed. The guy also throws pretty fast for a heavyweight. Though it may be fast, chaotic, and sloppy at times, it's pretty dang fast, and Stipe Miocic in a smaller octagon as well, in a smaller cage, will be forced to duck and get away from those blows of Francis Ngannou. Can he do it? I'll say this. I believe in the first 2 rounds, Francis Ngannou is going to catch Stipe. He's going to connect with something. And the big question is, can Stipe Miocic take it? Can he take a clean blow still from Francis Ngannou at this time in his career? And another thing we have to talk about when it comes to Francis Ngannou is the patience of Francis Ngannou. And no, I'm not talking about the Jairzinho Rozenstruik fight. I understand that he wailed at Jairzinho Rozenstruik like that, but that's because Jairzinho Rozenstruik is actually, at times, can be a sitting target when it comes to punches like that. He didn't use his footwork to get out of the way or moved his head that much. He just kind of sat there and only thought to counter Francis Ngannou, which is, if you make a mistake while countering him, can cost you the fight. And it did, obviously. But Francis Ngannou cannot expect that from Stipe Miocic, and I think that he knows that. I think that he knows Stipe will be moving and looking to counter him with takedowns the entire time. But Francis Ngannou is very patient. His countering ability is even better than ever before in his career. I mean, what he showed me in the Cain Velasquez fight is that he countered with an uppercut, something that I've really never seen him do before. And Curtis Blaydes shot for a lot of takedowns on Ngannou in their first fight with Blaydes. And Francis Ngannou has now developed this counter with an uppercut. Not to mention Derek Lewis just threw that out there also against Curtis Blaydes. So I'm pretty sure if Stipe goes for an ill-advised takedown, we can see a return of that counter uppercut to stop the takedown. Let me just say, if it lands the same way that Derek Lewis landed on Curtis Blaydes, dude, it's over. We might need to worry about Stipe's health at that point. But it's also, think about this, a smaller cage. It's a smaller cage. They're fighting at the apex. So when I say the patience of Francis Ngannou, I don't mean that he's going to be a one-shot sniper the entire time. Although I do see a little bit of that, I think that it's going to be more of wait, see an opening, and bombard Stipe with bombs. And while Stipe's trying to get out of the way of those bombs, maybe try to earn some respect by firing back, ultimately making a mistake while trying to get out of the way of those bombs, a defensive mistake, and getting caught right on the chin by one of those bombs of Francis Ngannou. Because Francis Ngannou has shown that he can be patient in spurts, but he ultimately fights in explosions. He fights in explosions of shots, and I think that he's going to be well aware that Stipe can take him down and ultimately out-grapple him. So he's going to be well aware of that, and he's going to just be looking for the right moment to bombard Stipe or be a one-shot sniper the whole time. Either game plan can be very, very dangerous. Very, very dangerous for Stipe. And ultimately, if I have to see a way that Stipe loses this fight, it's going to be Francis Ngannou either hunting him down or countering him. Stipe ultimately making a mistake. Let me just say this, with heavyweights, you don't have a lot of room to make a bunch of errors. Now, with Francis Ngannou, you don't have any room to make any errors. And Stipe makes mistakes defensively in fights. And I think that's ultimately what's going to cost him if he loses his fight. Francis Ngannou throws everything with power. He's been throwing calf kicks as well that can stifle the movement of Stipe, which makes Stipe be more of a sitting target and be able to connect those grenades that he has of fists onto the chin of Stipe Miocic, ultimately putting down a champion. And there will be a new king in the heavyweight division. This is why Francis Ngannou KO Stipe Miocic at UFC 260. It's your boy Trippy, and I'm out, man.